All right, everyone. Hello. This is Bipolar Type 1 Part 2 Depression. I'll just say a warning, it's getting late, and I wanted to get this video out there before I go to bed because I have all the ideas in my head. But it's late and I'm tired, so I might yawn, I might rub my eyes, but it's fine. I'll be okay. Um, okay, depression. So, hypomania eventually ended within like a month or two. I don't remember normal. I just remember it becoming depression quite fast. If you look at the bipolar chart, right, there's no like flat period at normal. It just goes down. So I just went down, 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 down. And this depression phase lasted 2 years. 2 years. And I'll talk about I'll talk about what happened after those 2 years. I mean, depression lasted from when my mania ended all the way to when I came to this full-time residential care facility 2 years later. 2.5 years later. So I went 2.5 years just depressed as hell. Now, what does that mean? What is that like? Well, that music YouTuber who made his bipolar type 1 video and talked about his experience, I feel like went even deeper into depression than I did because he got the idea that by not killing himself, he was being a coward, and that if he was brave, he would do the right thing and kill himself. I never quite got there because I've always thought of suicide as cowardice. The brave thing to do is keep going, and the cowardly thing to do is commit suicide. I believe that. But when you're depressed, very depressed, that gets flipped backwards. And the brave thing to do is kill yourself, and the cowardly thing to do is continue being a burden to the people around you and continue fucking up the world with your existence. You're being a coward by continuing to do that, and you should take the brave way out. But you're a slave to your will to live because you're a coward. That's how depressed people think. The deepest I got was just fantasizing about death all the time, fantasizing about suicide all the time. But I still always thought in my head that I would be a coward for actually doing it. And I never made actual plans. Like, I never said, okay, tomorrow I'm going to I'm going to drink alcohol until I die. Next week, I'm going to drive my car off a cliff. Next month, I never got there. I just got to where I really, really, really wanted to die really bad. But it's called passive suicidal ideation, where you want to die, but you don't want to kill yourself actively. And so basically, like, I didn't go to the doctor because if they found something wrong with me, I wouldn't have cared. I would have celebrated it like, oh, thank God I'm going to die in 2 years. Thank God I don't have to live for another decade. So I didn't bother to go to the doctor because if I had something horrible, that was a good thing. And I wouldn't have wanted treatment. And then also just not caring about yourself at all, not caring about anything. If you don't care about yourself, how are you supposed to care about your job or something like that? There's no possible way. I mean, you don't even care about yourself. So, um, the other thing I did was hide it really hard and not tell anybody. And I have this, or I had, it's been, I've talked through it with my therapist, but I've always been very, 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 very afraid of getting 5150'd. In California, 5150 is basically when they determine that you're a threat to yourself or others and they essentially arrest you. And you're treated like a criminal. And being treated like a criminal is like my greatest fear in the world. I don't like criminals. I certainly don't want to be a criminal. So, 5150 is like my biggest fear. So, I didn't tell any mental health professionals about my passive suicidal ideation because I thought they would 5150 me. So, I never disclosed to my psychiatrist how messed up I was. And I didn't get a therapist because I didn't care. The reason why I kept going to a psychiatrist is because I knew that if I just stopped taking all my meds, I would feel worse. I knew that at least. I was smart enough to know that. That if I stopped taking all my meds, I might go into the very even deeper part of depression that musician went into, where you start actually thinking suicide is a good idea. I thought that death was a good thing, but I didn't think that committing suicide was a good idea. I didn't get that deep. Um, but I fantasized about it. I just always knew it was a bad idea. Um, it's very, very, very difficult to do well at your job when you're depressed. Of course. You don't care about yourself. You don't care about the world. Certainly don't care about your job. So it's hard to do a good job. And that can have ripple effects. You might get fired. You might this and that. And you just, in general, feel like you can't function in the world. So a lot of the reason why I'm at a full-time residential care facility is because I couldn't function anymore. I couldn't function in the world. And I just decided I was tired of thinking about death all day. And the big problem with depression, guys, you won't know that you won't feel fixable. It'll feel true and real that you're worthless, that you deserve to die. That, yeah, really, you will believe that you deserve to die. And so you will feel uncurable because thinking that you're a good person is as foreign a concept to you as thinking that the sky is green. So if someone tells you, oh, those mental health professionals, if you talk to them, they will get you to believe that the sky is green. I was just like, well, I don't want to be brainwashed. I know I'm a horrible person. I know I'm trash. I know I'm worthless. I know I deserve to die. I feel it to the core of my being. And I don't want to go have someone brainwash me. I would just go to a church if that's what I wanted. So you can be in a dark spot where you don't even want care. And also, I also didn't even believe that they would be able to convince me the sky was green. that I was a salvageable case because I just didn't see any way to be salvaged. I'd made too many mistakes, it was too late, blah, blah, blah. So it took me a long time to come here because I didn't think that it would fix me. I thought that I was unfixable. Um, so hopefully, by me telling you that I've been there and yet this place has helped me, hopefully someone out there decides to seek care even though they don't believe it's going to help. You won't believe it's going to help. I didn't believe it was going to help. I just didn't have any other options. I just I just decided I was sick of fantasizing about suicide. And so even though I didn't feel like they could help me, it was like the last thing I could do was come to a full-time residential facility. And I'm not depressed anymore. Right now, at least. I'll talk about normal in part 3, but to be frank, I can't talk about normal with that much experience because I've only been normal for like 3 or 4 days now. Um, so I don't really have much experience with feeling normal. When you feel when you come out of depression and feel okay again, you're gonna worry about mania if you have any morality, because mania hurts other people, so you should care about it. And so when I started feeling better, I was like, "Oh great, here it goes, another manic phase." Because I'd never felt not depressed without being manic or anxious. I'll go into it during my normal video. But basically, um, I've been very afraid that I'm manic now, but I'm both the therapist here and the psychiatrist here who have been monitoring me have told me that I'm not hypomanic or manic, and that I'm just normal. My mood is regulated, which is insane. I thought that that would be unachievable. So they can help you. They really can. They've been doing this a long time. They've seen what you're suffering from. You can recognize that other depressed people might have a way out. You might believe other depressed people have a way out, but not you, because you're just such a piece of trash. Like, how could you ever be valuable? You might be able to see other depressed people and think, oh, that person actually has potential, but you won't feel that way about yourself. So it's very hard to accept that you can be helped. So hopefully people will at least believe me and know that it's possible. Okay? I can't make promises. I can't tell you you'll definitely feel better, but it's possible. So yeah, depression is a brutal condition to have for sure. I think everyone knows that. Um, except for the people who think depressed folks are just over dramatic pussies. Oh, the other thing that the musician talked about that I couldn't relate to at all was feeling like he was just attention seeking. He felt like his depression wasn't even real and that this was just him seeking attention and being a drama queen. I never felt that way. Like I always have known that I'm fucked up. Like I've always known that I'm not normal. It's not attention seeking. I'm actually messed up. I always knew that at least. So I never got so down that I didn't even think I was depressed. I thought that I was just faking it all so that people would go out of their way to care for me. I never got in that mental state. So yeah, I couldn't relate to that at all, but I wanted to mention it because maybe, someone watching this relates to it. So, um, so I guess that's something that can happen is feeling even more down on yourself. Like, I don't even have a disorder. I'm just a really bad person. And that sucks. So, don't want to go there either. Um, Once I told my psychiatrist how depressed I was, they didn't 5150 me. I haven't been 5150'd. They just told me to come here. That's all they did was tell me to come to a residential facility. But I had already decided to, but they said, yeah, you need to go. Um, if you're seeking help, at least this is what I still have trust issues with mental health professionals. But I've been told that as long as you're seeking care and trying to get better, they can't 5150 you. So keep that in mind. But the rules in other states might be different. I have no idea. This is California. As long as you are seeking care, they won't arrest you. So I didn't seek care for the longest time because I thought I was going to be arrested. So yeah. Um, let's see. I've talked about depression lectures and stuff. I've linked it in my first bipolar video. I guess I'll just link it again in the description of this video. The lecture on major depressive disorder that the Stanford professor that I really like made. So that will give you a better overview of depression itself. I'm just trying to talk about how I experienced it so that people who relate don't think that they're the only one who feels that way. All right. So, seek care, people, please, and listen to your psychiatrist and listen to your therapist. It won't hurt you. So, you might as well try, right? Cool. Thanks.